Welcome and get ready to dive deep. We spent some time with a stack of sources, including a really insightful one called leucine.pdf. And today, our mission really is to pull out the most vital stuff about one of the body's true powerhouse molecules, leucine.
Right.
And this isn't just about building muscle, we're talking about a critical signal for, well, whole body health, recovery, even healthy aging. Think of it like a master switch.
Master switch, yeah. That's
So,
a good way to put it.
so to really get leucine, we probably need to start with the bigger picture. Let's talk proteins.
Good idea.
When we hear protein, most of us think, steak, chicken. But inside your body, proteins are like the fundamental machinery of life, the workers building, maintaining, repairing everything. So what exactly are they? Why so crucial?
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. These complex proteins, they are essentially the functional backbone. They give structure, like collagen for your skin strength or keratin in hair and nails.
Okay.
And they act as enzymes, speeding up all those biochemical reactions. Digestion, for example.
Right.
Plus transport and signaling. Think hemoglobin carrying oxygen or insulin managing blood sugar. They're the ultimate multitaskers inside our cells.
And these amazing multitasking workers, what are they built from? You mentioned tiny components.
Amino acids. That's the key. Tiny essential components called amino acids.
Right.
If proteins are like the complex words or sentences that run our bodies, then amino acids are the alphabet letters.
Okay. The alphabet.
Exactly. And the specific sequence of those letters dictates everything about the protein structure and its job.
So how do these letters, these amino acids, come together?
They link up. They're small organic molecules that connect in specific sequences, kind of like beads on a string.
Okay.
And they use what we call peptide bonds to link. The human body uses 20 standard amino acids to build all its different proteins.
20 letters in this alphabet.
Basically, yes. And what's really fascinating is that each amino acid has a unique side chain, like a little chemical tag. This gives each one a distinct personality.
Personality. How so?
Well, it dictates how they behave. And it's these different personalities that allow the whole chain, the protein, to fold into these incredibly complex 3D shapes. That shape is what lets it do its specific job.
Got it. So these amino acids, they're not all the same then. You classify them. I know there's like an essential versus non-essential thing.
That's a really critical distinction, nutritionally speaking. You have the essential amino acids. Your body just cannot make these, period. You must get them from your diet.
Leucine.
Like leucine, exactly. And others like histidine, lysine, tryptophan. Then you have non-essential amino acids. Your body can make these from other stuff, alanine, serine, those types.
Okay.
And then there's a third sort of nuanced category, conditionally essential.
Conditionally.
Yeah, normally non-essential, but they become essential during specific times like illness, major stress, rapid growth. Arginine, glutamine are examples there.
That makes sense. So that's the nutritional side. What about those personalities you mentioned? The side chains, why do their chemical properties matter?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, those differences are everything. They dictate how the amino acids interact. Some avoid water. They're hydrophobic, like leucine, actually. They tend to bury themselves inside the protein.
Okay.
Others are polar. They like water. Some carry a positive charge, some negative, some are bulky with ring structures. It's this incredible variety that allows proteins to fold so precisely and perform this huge range of functions. It enables the complexity of life, really.
Wow. Okay, so let's zoom in then. Our star for today, leucine. You said it's essential, and it's got one of those hydrophobic personalities. What else makes it stand out? Why are we dedicating a whole deep dive to it?
Leucine is, well, it's definitely a powerhouse. It's essential, as we said, gotta eat it. And it's one of the famous branch chain amino acids, the BCAAs.
Right, BCAAs. You hear about those a lot in fitness.
You do. It's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. But leucine is kind of the leader of the pack. It has this uniquely strong role in stimulating muscle protein synthesis. That's building muscle.
The muscle connection.
Exactly. But also supporting recovery, helping maintain lean body mass. If your intake is inadequate, it really can impair growth and tissue repair. It's fundamental.
So essential BCAA muscle builder.
Yeah.
But how does it work? Chemically, metabolically, what's going on inside?
So chemically, it has that branched hydrocarbon side chain, making it nonpolar, hydrophobic. This helps stabilize protein structures. Metabolically, it's really interesting. Leucine is classified as ketogenic.
Ketogenic, like the keto diet.
Sort of related, yeah. It means when it breaks down, it primarily forms ketone bodies, not glucose.
Okay, so it makes ketones. Why is that important?
It's important for energy, especially when carbs are low. During fasting, or on a low-carb diet, those ketone bodies become an alternative fuel source, particularly for the brain and muscles. Leucine breakdown products feed right into energy production pathways.
That's a neat trick. Provides energy differently. But we also called it a master switch. What's that about? That sounds like its main job.
That really is its headline act, you could say. Leucine acts as the primary trigger for something called the mTOR pathway.
mTOR. Heard of that too. Sounds important.
It is. mTOR is essentially your body's main on switch for building proteins, especially muscle protein.
So leucine flips the switch.
Exactly. When you eat leucine, it gets into your bloodstream, travels to your muscles, and it signals, okay, time to build. It activates mTOR, and mTOR then orchestrates the whole process of assembling new muscle proteins, crucial for repair, growth, maintenance.
And how does it physically or chemically flip that switch? Is there a specific mechanism?
Yes, and what's fascinating here is the precision. Leucine acts as a nutrient signal. It tells the cell, hey, building blocks are available. It does this by binding to specific sensors inside the cell. Yeah, intracellular sensors. Think of them like docking stations. Two key ones are leucyl tRNA synthetase, LRS, and cestrin-2. When leucine binds to these, it triggers a cascade that activates a specific part of mTOR called mTORC1.
The mTORC1.
And mTORC1 is the master regulator of cell growth. Once it's active, thanks to leucine, it kicks off protein synthesis. This isn't just for muscle, by the way. It's vital for cell regeneration, metabolic functions all over the body.
Wow. Okay, so what does this all mean for, the average person listening? We said it's not just for bodybuilders. If it's this master switch for building stuff, how does that help everyone?
That's really the core message. Its impact goes way beyond the gym because protein synthesis is fundamental to, well, everything.
Right. So let's unpack some of those broader effects beyond muscle. What are we talking about?
Okay, well, let's start with metabolic health.
Yeah.
We mentioned the ketogenic aspect, but leucine also seems to enhance insulin sensitivity.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it can improve how well your muscle cells take up glucose from your blood. So it helps maintain more stable blood sugar levels. It plays this quiet background role in energy management.
That's huge for general health, absolutely. What about when the body's under stress? Like illness or just, recovering from a hard workout or injury?
Leucine is absolutely vital for recovery and healing. It helps preserve your lean body mass, your muscle during illness, stress, even just aging. It directly fights against muscle loss, what we call sarcopenia in older adults.
Fights muscle loss, that's key.
Definitely. And because it stimulates protein building in general, it directly supports the repair of damaged tissues. After injuries, surgeries, burns, leucine signaling helps rebuild skin, muscle, connective tissues. It promotes strong, healthy replacement tissue. That's why it's a cornerstone in medical nutrition therapy sometimes.
So it's literally helping rebuild you. What about things like collagen? I associate that more with vitamin C. Does leucine play a role there?
Good question. Vitamin C is essential for making the collagen molecule itself, but leucine plays a crucial supporting role.
How so?
By activating mTOR and boosting overall protein synthesis, it ensures your body has the raw materials and the signal to produce collagen and other structural proteins effectively. So it supports healthy skin structure, elasticity.
Indirectly then?
Indirectly, but fundamentally. It also helps maintain the integrity of connective tissues in your joints and bones, and even the collagen needed for healthy blood vessels. It's foundational support.
That's a connection I hadn't made. Okay, what about something like hair health? Seems unrelated, but maybe not.
Well, think about what hair is made of. Primarily keratin, right, which is a protein.
Right.
So adequate protein synthesis is key. Leucine contributes by supporting that keratin production in the follicles, promoting collagen for a healthy scalp, enhancing blood flow to the follicles. It can even help prevent the kind of hair thinning you might see with general protein deficiency, another ripple effect of that master switch.
Helping us look good and heal up. Okay, what about iron? How could it possibly connect to iron metabolism?
This is a neat one. Again, it comes back to boosting overall protein production via mTOR. Your body needs proteins to handle iron properly.
Like what proteins?
Like ferritin, which stores iron, and hemoglobin, which transports iron in your red blood cells. Leucine supports the synthesis of these critical proteins.
So better iron handling?
Means better oxygen transport throughout your body. And for you, that translates to potentially less fatigue, more energy, more vitality.
Leucine really is a multitasker. Okay, with all these benefits stacking up, let's get practical. How much do people actually need, and where do we find it easily?
Good questions. The general recommendation from WHO guidelines is around 42 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day.
Okay, let's translate that for an average person.
For someone around 70 kilos or 154 pounds, that works out to roughly 3 grams of leucine total per day, just about 3 grams.
3 grams. And what if you're really active? Athletes?
Then your needs definitely go up. For recovery, muscle adaptation, athletes might need more like 5 to 8 grams per day, sometimes even more depending on the intensity and goals.
Right. And are some food sources better than others at delivering that leucine?
Absolutely. Animal-based sources are generally the most concentrated and bioavailable. Whey protein is famously high in leucine.
The protein powder staple.
Exactly. But also whole foods.
Hmm.
Beef, chicken, pork, fish usually pack around 2.0 to 2.9 grams per 100 gram serving, which is about 3.5 ounces.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And eggs, dairy like Greek yogurt, also very good sources. Plus, animal proteins are complete. They have all 9 essential amino acids.
Makes sense. What about plant-based eaters? Where should they focus?
For plant-based sources, the undisputed champion is soybeans, including tofu and tempeh. Cooked soybeans have about 2.9 grams per cup. That's really high for a plant source.
Wow, almost like meat.
Almost. Lentils and chickpeas are also good, around 1.3 grams per cooked cup. Quinoa gives you maybe 0.8 grams per cup. Pumpkin seeds are decent, around 0.7 grams per ounce, or 30 grams.
So for plant-based, it's about combining things.
Variety and volume are key, definitely. Combining legumes like beans or lentils with grains like rice or quinoa helps ensure you get a good balance of all essential amino acids, including enough leucine.
Okay, could you maybe paint a picture? Give us some practical leucine-rich meal ideas.
Sure. Let's think. Breakfast, maybe scrambled eggs with a side of Greek yogurt, perhaps some oatmeal topped with pumpkin seeds. That could easily get you close to 2.8, maybe 3 grams of leucine.
Nice start to the day. Lunch.
Power lunch.
Mm.
Maybe a grilled chicken breast salad with quinoa. That could hit 3.5 grams or more.
Okay, dinner. Especially a plant-based option.
Recovery dinner.
Ah.
How about a hearty lentil curry with brown rice? Or a tofu stir-fry loaded with veggies and maybe some sesame seeds sprinkled on top. That could get you around 2 grams, maybe a bit more depending on portion size.
And snacks post-workout.
That's where shakes come in handy for quick delivery. A scoop of whey or even soy protein in a shake can easily give you 2.5 grams or more of leucine pretty rapidly.
That's really helpful. Now, you mentioned that master switch effect and triggering mTOR. Is there a specific amount needed at one time? I think I've heard the term leucine threshold. What's that about?
Yes, this raises a really important point, especially as we think about aging. The leucine threshold is basically the minimum amount of leucine you need in a single meal to effectively flip that mTOR switch and stimulate muscle protein synthesis.
Ah, so it's not just the total amount per day, but per meal.
Exactly. Think of it like a light switch. You need enough juice in one go to turn it on properly. If a meal has too little leucine, you don't get that optimal anabolic signal, even if your total daily protein is okay.
How much is that threshold typically?
Research generally points to needing about 2 to 3 grams of leucine per meal for most adults.
2 to 3 grams.
Yeah, and that usually corresponds to consuming around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in that meal. That amount of protein typically carries enough leucine with it.
Okay. And does this threshold change as we get older? You mentioned aging.
It does. This is a critical point for healthy aging. As we age, our muscles become somewhat less responsive to the anabolic signals from protein. It's a phenomenon called anabolic resistance.
Less responsive. Why?
It's complex, but it involves reduced sensitivity to leucine itself, maybe less efficient digestion and absorption, hormonal changes. Several factors contribute.
So older adults need more.
Yes, they generally need higher overall protein intake daily, maybe 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, compared to 0.8 to 1.0 for younger adults. And crucially, they likely need to aim for the higher end of that per meal leucine threshold. So closer to 2.5 or 3 grams per meal, just to overcome that resistance and get the same muscle building signal.
So it's not just eating more protein overall, but really focusing on getting enough leucine in each main meal. Makes sense. Is there anything else that helps fight that anabolic resistance?
Oh, absolutely. Exercise. Exercise is like the magic key here. Resistance training, lifting weights, directly stimulates muscle protein synthesis itself, regardless of age. But it also makes your muscle cells more sensitive to the leucine you eat afterwards.
So exercise primes the pump, basically.
Exactly. It makes your dietary protein work better. And endurance exercise is great too for mitochondrial health, metabolic flexibility. Combining regular exercise, both resistance and some cardio, With that strategic protein and leucine intake, that's the most effective way we know to combat age-related muscle loss and maintain function. It really can help turn back the clot for your muscles.
Exercise and targeted nutrition. Got it. So, with all this talk about thresholds and needs, what about just taking a leucine supplement? Are they useful? Should people consider them?
Leucine supplements are definitely out there, and they are popular, especially as you'd expect with athletes, bodybuilders for recovery, muscle growth, but they're also used by people on calorie-restricted diets, aiming to preserve muscle while losing fat. And increasingly, they're considered for older adults trying to maintain strength and muscle mass, or even in clinical settings for patients recovering from illness or surgery.
So, what are the potential upsides?
The main proposed benefits are muscle preservation, especially when muscle loss is a risk like aging, illness, or very low-calorie diets. Potentially some metabolic support, maybe helping with glucose control, although that's less established than the muscle effects. And enhanced recovery after exercise, possibly leading to better performance over time, especially when combined with enough total protein.
Okay. But there's always a but, isn't there? If we connect this to the bigger picture, any powerful nutrient needs careful handling. Are there risks or safety concerns with leucine supplement?
Precisely. It's important to be aware. First, just as an interesting aside, leucine gets metabolized partly into another compound called HMB. Yeah, hydroxymethylbutyrate. HMB itself is thought to reduce muscle breakdown, and it's also sold as a supplement, sometimes used for frail individuals or athletes in really intense phases. It comes from leucine.
Okay, interesting metabolite. But the leucine supplement itself.
Right. Taking very large amounts of just leucine without balancing other amino acids could potentially lead to a nitrogen imbalance. Your body has to process that extra nitrogen, which can put a strain on your kidneys over time, especially if overall protein intake isn't adequate or kidney function is already compromised.
Kidney strain. Okay. Anything else?
Well, because of its effects on insulin signaling, there's a theoretical risk it could disrupt blood sugar, maybe causing hypoglycemia or low blood sugar in very sensitive individuals, especially if taken in large doses on an empty stomach. And there have been some concerns raised in animal studies or with extremely high doses, like way beyond typical supplement levels, over 500 milligrams per kilograms per day, that it might interfere with niacin metabolism, but that's probably not relevant for typical usage.
So the key takeaway is?
The key takeaway is, while supplements might have a specific role for certain people or situations, the foundation should always be getting enough leucine and protein in general from whole food sources. Food provides leucine in balance with other nutrients. Supplements should be approached with, caution and awareness, maybe consulting a professional. Don't overdo it.
Focus on food first. Makes sense. Okay. Let's try to wrap this up. Our deep dive into leucine, it's really shown us it's, an incredibly powerful molecule.
It really is.
It's essential. It's a BCAA, absolutely critical for kicking off protein synthesis, crucial for muscle health, but also for overall metabolic regulation.
That master switch role, activating mTOR, is key.
Exactly, the master switch for recovery and building. And we saw its impact goes way beyond just muscle, right? Supporting collagen, hair, helping with energy, blood sugar, iron metabolism, recovery processes.
The whole picture is quite broad.
And remembering that threshold effect seems really important. Aiming for that 2 to 3 grams per meal, usually within 25-30 grams of good protein, to really unlock those benefits.
Getting that signal strong enough each time.
So this leaves us with a final thought, maybe for you, the listener.
Yeah, this raises an important question, doesn't it? Leucine isn't just, another amino acid. It's acting as this powerful nutritional signal. It drives health and recovery across the whole body.
Right.
So thinking about how understanding these master switch nutrients like leucine empowers you, not just for fitness maybe, but for optimizing your health throughout your entire life. It makes you wonder, what other single molecules might hold that kind of widespread, profound power inside us? Something to think about.